Shout out to friend of the show, Bow Wow. You feel me?
Not over Deucin and Bow Easy.
I'm Bow Weezy, Prince of the Old Town. Get y'all's reaction to what Bow Wow said, and we'll take it line by line. We'll take it. We'll literally take it line by line.
Anything. So how do you feel about that?
Hold on. Turn it up a little bit. Oh shit, that's as loud as it's gonna get. All right.
Started at all this year for hip hop and anything. So how do you feel about that?
Put out trash ass music.
No, not the trash music.
It is. Everything sounded like everything repetitive, same tempo. It's roll out the bed. Everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. And I feel like now we getting in the reason, and now we finally getting to a point where I feel like now it's about to shift back into the real. Like you really gotta have talent. You really gotta go. I think people are starting to get tired of it now. That's why you don't see nothing charting. Everything sound the same. Every girl want to get a bag, get a rich, spin the block. I'm sliding on the. Everything is sound the same. Ain't nobody doing nothing different. So it's time to shake the game up and get it back to what it need to get back to, and that's just the real essence of artistry and real good music. Like that's gonna last forever.
Is there anybody that
I don't know? I ain't heard nothing that I say I'm gonna hear this 30 years from now.
Wow.
Nothing.
There's nobody.
I mean Drake, Kendrick, and I would say Cole. Other than that.
You know what's crazy? They gonna kill him because they might play the wrong messenger card. 90% of what he's saying, I'm not gonna say was wrong.
Thank you. All right.
Let's keep it hot. I think, and I quoted the tweet you had. I do think that there are some things of this era that will ultimately be timeless because one, the way nostalgia works, every person's current generation will be their best. So ultimately, there'll be some songs that are nostalgic, and two, there'll be some songs we come back to and feel that we were overhated on for sure. So that's going to happen. But in terms of sounding the same, I think we all agree. We've listened to songs. Yeah, that's them TikTok niggas. That's them Abud niggas. That's them Memphis niggas. That's some Atlanta shit. That's DMV shit is any nigga from here knows how annoying that shit get down. It's like the same two flows. So that's true. And that's just underground, let alone mainstream. That's true. Then we get to people dropping trash music. I mean, quality has definitely went down in exchange over quantity. I think a lot of people would agree with that as well. Niggas are just trying to get as many tracks out as possible if the artist is dropping at all. Either they're not dropping at all or they're dropping like a damn YouTuber. So I agree with that too. I ain't gonna lie, y'all can kill Bow Wow because he's Bow Wow, and I know that that's gonna be what sets niggas off, but he wasn't too far off from how I personally feel about it. The only thing I say is I feel like over time niggas are gonna be like, this shit weren't that bad. Like in hindsight, it wasn't that fucking bad. But in terms of like comparing like the numbers and all that shit, I've already explained the reasonings. I can see what he's saying though. See what he's saying.
He was spitting. I mean, he ain't say no lies. I just don't blame the rappers in the situation. I blame the labels more. There's plenty of rappers out here that have different sounds, different flows, and things like that. They just aren't being signed and pushed because labels here, okay, the masses like this, so we're just going to oversaturate and push this. So I agree. He's not lying. Shit does sound the same because that's what labels think people want to hear. They want to hear the same shit. Instead of realizing that you can literally just push music and niggas are going to listen to it. That people it's going to get to a point now to where motherfuckers going to want the inverse, and then everyone is just going to sound like whatever the inverse is. The inverse is going to get oversaturated. So whatever the opposite of the usual sounds is, someone's going to come out with a different sound, and there's going to be a ton of oversaturation with that sound. And we're just going to go through this whole process again for another 2-3 years. And we're gonna have the same conversation again, like, oh, the state of hip hop.
Thank you for pulling shit like that up. This is gonna be the gaslighty take. I have a counter that niggas, y'all ain't gonna want to hear this, and I doubt Omar was gonna say this. Omar probably got a way better trap card than this. But you niggas that are saying that the three of us or Bow Wow or the multiple people that are saying it, one, you're ignoring the masses, but two, more importantly, how about this? It weren't that hard to find back then, and it probably won't be that hard to find in the future. The fact that we're not listening to the right people, that was never a problem. That was never a problem. I'm not even that fucking old, but like back in in R&B, we can even get outside of rap and R&B. Who was like, yo, R&B's trash. You're not listening to the right people. You need to check out this Beyonce chick. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, this Neo guy, like that was never a fucking thing. You could even translate it to rap. There was no, I don't know who Lil Wayne is. So, like, even that argument kind of is you're kind of going against yourself because that's the most hypocritical argument you can make in this situation right now. The shit is getting shit is getting repetitive. Ultimately, it is like there's like we're looking at like the 2016 niggas as the face of the game now, but in terms of the faces of the like who should be the faces of the game, whether it's because of the fans, that's where I defer from Bow Wow. I think the fans have a huge fault in this. But whether it's because of the fans or the labels, as Damo's mentioning, it's not. The shit is different. Shit is repetitive, and the music quality has definitely declined. Even if you know some underground artists.
I'll say this, and Sage actually brought up that last one was a very good point. And I talked about this on stream, so I'm not gonna kill this topic, but you're right. The idea that we have to find it, I hate that counter. Y'all just listen to the same people. You gotta find, you gotta expand your music taste. If you're about to tell me about, Mousy Wousy from your hometown with 2,000 streams and he sounds creative, like I like stuff like that to me is like, all right, bro, you're ignoring the mass point. You're ignoring the majority. I get it. You know about Laptop Steve, like you know about him, and he's making some bangerific stuff with some other stuff. But in reality, we're talking about what the masses listen to, what's going on at the clubs, what's going on the radio, what goes trending. We're talking about those things. And for the main part, I agree with Bao says. I was scrolling the timeline looking for topics, and I see another person, Omeretta, has done a Put It on the Floor remix. So when I hear Omeretta's Put It on the Floor remix, I see another woman with this cookie cutter beat, that's powered by the producer, because that's what gets these songs popping. Has the same flow as all the other 80 people that was on this same beat, and everybody sounds the same. Now, I guess the difference might be that she's not talking about sex, maybe, but other than that, come on, bro. Everybody is sounding the same. They're on the same beats, and my thing is, to Damo's point, the industry knows that they can make it. The industry knows that, and I think women's rap is like the most perfect example. Any song from a woman that we've heard in the past like 5 years, you could interchange basically any other woman artist, and it'll sound the exact same.
It's literally a voice fit. That's it.
It'll sound the exact same. I can't think of. I know some folks that could have made Fuck Nigga Free. Meg could have made Fuck Nigga Free. Cardi could have.
Oh my God, Meg could have quoted Fuck Nigga Free entirely, and it would have been the exact same.
Flo Milli could have made.
Like, and there's no disrespect because I fuck with Glow. But that's true.
Can I ask what era? At what era? And I'll say at least during our lifetime was mainstream music and or club music specifically. The shit you play in the clubs or mainstream music during our lifetime. When was that not always the same sounding kind of music?
The 2000s.
I ain't gonna lie.
At what point? And well, you're talking early 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s.
You could
because
even say,
I would say mid 2000s and on. You're wrong.
The early 2000s.
Yeah, I'd say early 2000s easy, and that's when I was a fucking kid. So that you could even like memory quiz me. But for example, and I'd argue late 2000s as well. When for example, prime example. Because someone brought up the Lils era. That's like 2015. So first of all, it's not the era we're referring to. But even if even if we were to try to be a little bit friendly and try to include that, which I don't think we should do, to be honest, there was an era prior to that. The essentially I call it the Young Money era, when like them niggas was on the top.
The late 2000s.
Everybody knew that shit was different. Everybody knew every artist. Like, you knew what a Drake song sounded like. You knew what a Wayne song would sound like. You knew what a this was like when Cole was just getting into the game. You knew how his game. You knew how he would sound like. No, nobody was like, yo, J. Cole and Drake sound the same. But like even nowadays, niggas are like someone saying JID and Baby Keem and shit. Niggas to them to nowadays, and they don't. But a lot of people would be like, this shit is the same. Like it's tough, and maybe it's because a lot of artists have already done it. But even then, that wasn't a problem back then when artists had done that before them type shit. I don't know if I phrased that the right way. So it's I don't know what it is about the game today, but I'd say even if there was a level of pushback for those eras that you're about to refer to, I don't think it's quite to this level. I
It
think it's gotten pretty extreme.
it's because it's microwavable. And the reason why I brought up that song, put it on the flow, that's that Lotto, Rip Me Out the Plastic, I've been acting brand new. That Lotto is a southern rapper who in her earlier days had tributes and homage to Gucci Mane and Young Jeezy, like trap rap from the South with the South feel. And not saying that all her music is like this now, but the Detroit sound is in to an extent, right? The Detroit sound is in. You
Mhm.
know, she took a Detroit beat because that song is a Detroit beat, and she put her own lyrics on top of it, formulaic, all this, that, and the third. And then, like I said, with everybody remixing it, all of them can do the exact same thing. They'll take a Memphis song, a Memphis sound, and do the exact same thing. I think the early 2000s is a perfect example. Different regions sounded different. Different
Mm-hmm.
regions sounded different.
Man, like I'm gonna tell
That's still
niggas
a
now.
thing. Different regions
Yeah,
still
but
sound
like
different.
nowadays, like there's like 40 versions of like a Memphis nigga type shit. But like for example, like when Dolph blew up, Dolph was the sound. Like Dolph was the sound. There was other motherfuckers, but like Dolph was Memphis for a
But
minute.
back in the early 2000s, regardless, the different regions, it would still be a region of things that sounded the same. It was just, it wasn't as easy to get the music out there. So you only heard
And
Dolph.
and, and
Back
that's
then,
and
you
that's
only heard Dolph. You didn't
and
hear
that's
Key Glock, Big Scar, Pooh Shiesty. You didn't hear the 18 other niggas that were from the
That's your
same
best
region.
point. That's your best point. I'm gonna give you that. That is easily your best point. Accessibility could be a problem. The problem is even when you have accessibility in like the 2015s, it weren't this bad. I'm not saying the game is dead and no shit. I disagree with Omar to that extent. I think this is
I didn't say it was dead.
oh well, damn! I was reading the tweets, but I'm like I don't think in the game for anybody who thinks that I'm saying the game is dead or like it lost it all. I don't think that's the case. But I think even when we compare the 2015, 16, 17, 18, I'm tired of these little niggas era. When you compare it to now, it's kind of like a way more egregious level of shit. When you also combine it to the fact that the new niggas didn't really get their new sound and make shit different outside of the TikTok niggas. And we know what the TikTok niggas, they're not trying to appease the audience in terms of like re-listening value. They're just trying to make you help stitch a TikTok. So half of the niggas in the game, they not even trying to be in the game for real. They trying to blow up on
But
TikTok.
don't you think that has a lot to do again? And I'm gonna keep saying, don't you feel like this is an issue that's happened with the evolution of how labels have controlled the rap game and controlled these rappers and controlled the sounds that's coming out? Like,
I
don't you
mean,
feel like that has a lot to do with it as well? Like,
I mean, it do, but I'm not gonna act like, for example, like, and again, I'm not slandering Keem or JID when I say this, but like, I think my main issue is like, you take those two guys, they're talented artists. I think we would all agree they're talented artists, but like, my main thing, they perfectly describe what's the problem right now is we've kind of had even that sound before. Like when people was pushing Young Cole, when people was pushing Young Kendrick, it was like, oh, these niggas kind of different. But it was like still on the lyrical, spiritual side of things, but a different sound. When you listen to like a JID or a Keem, and if Souls was here, shout out to the B Souls, he'd throw in Corday in this list to troll me. But Corday especially, right? Like niggas literally go Kendrick Jr., Cole Jr. type shit. When you have these the TikTok niggas, again, they're not, their main interest ain't even music. So you throw them out the window. You throw the potential copycat niggas out the window. Now what do you have? Baby juniors, maybe a bunch of other Memphis rappers. And at that point, it's like, damn, what are we looking forward to? Now you can 100% blame the label. I'm not even with you on that. I think it's the consumer. I'm tired of you niggas essentially giving niggas a year of good music and then backing them up if you don't like one album. I think that's the problem. I think honestly, the niggas watching this video are the problem. But that's a different subject for a different day. I'm talking about the results right now, and I think it's vastly different.
I think the only thing I would say to these points is I don't even think that it's 50 you know, I'm dancing between 50-50 label consumer. I think the difference to me, Damo, is people now see that you can go and get another person's sound and be successful. So maybe it's the Drake effect.
Mhm.
When I
Potentially.
see that I can do, drill music and be successful, like at 40 years old, there's no reason for Nicki Minaj to be doing drill music. Like that's not your sound. That's not what you came from. And I don't see too many other 40-year-olds that are still in hip hop right now. Like it would be weird if Busta Rhymes dropped a drill album right now. A little drill EP, three drill songs. Cause that's just not, I mean, you have your sound. You're your own person. You're supposed to be. Now, if we're optimizing to make money and stuff like that, that's a completely different thing. But from what I remember back in the day, you had your own sound. You may have gotten a producer that found a way to mesh somebody else's sound with your sound occasionally. But for the most part, even if it was like a remix to a song where you brought other people on, you brought other New York niggas on, you brought other Southern niggas on, you brought other niggas from Houston, you brought other niggas from the West Coast, you brought all these people on. You had your sound, you stayed in it. Now, yo, Memphis sound is going crazy, bro. Everybody from around the world, let's try to grab a slice of this Memphis sound. Everybody get a Take Keith beat right now. Everybody grab a Take Keith beat. Let's try to get it popping.
But don't you think that's a result? Or not even that, but we can say the reason why that is so normalized now is the same reason why, and I'm comparing this to basketball. In the people from the 90s, like the attitudes of players from the 90s are different than the attitudes of players today because the game has evolved and there's way more money in it and their hearts aren't in it as much. Back then, you can hear about rappers from the 90s and early 2000s. They took pride in not allowing people to sound like them. Like, oh, in the game, if you sound like S1Z, we called you out for that. We ain't let that shit slide. Well, yeah, y'all was getting a lot less pieces of the pie. Y'all cared about the fucking game. It meant something to y'all. But now there's so many dollars being thrown around and the morals are out the window and these labels have control. Now, I can concede and say it's a cause and effect thing. Because they're shitty consumers and niggas have the attitudes that they have, the effect is the labels move X, Y, and Z, and they move that way. So now we have this broken ass system of these rappers noticing, okay, the consumers are trash. They don't give a fuck about the music they put out that I put out for real. They just want some shit that sounds like the end shit. And the labels, they don't give a fuck about the product for real. They just want some shit that they know the consumers are gonna go with. Bet I can just go take this sound. So it's a big ass cesspool of bad consumers, bad labels, and niggas with no pride in the work. They just want the bag. And now you have what hip hop is now. Now, what is it going to take? I don't know if it's going to take us, the consumers, which that's really what it's going to, that's the answer.
That's
the consumers demanding a better product, which the casual consumer won't. The motherfuckers just want the songs. They're going to bop to it. Coachella, bop to it, Rolling Loud. They're going to bop to it, the concerts, and they can ride in their car and listen to. So the consumer doesn't care. Is it going to take the label saying, man, fuck this, put a better product out, even though they're not going to because they just want what the consumer wants? Or is it going to take more artists taking pride in the work and understanding, hey, look, it's a new era. It might not be the most fruitful or the best way, but I can put out my music the way I want, the way I see fit with my message, and I can get it how Russ gets it. I can get it how Chance got it, technically, with the story once
right.
I can get it on my own better than the people before me because I really care about my craft. That's real. It's between the consumer and the motherfucking MCs for real. That's really what it's gonna take.
Yeah, it's like, and I brought them up, and ever since then, chat had a sped attack. Hopefully, the comment section has brains and or just listens to what I'm actually saying, because I'm not saying artists like JID, artists like Keem, and other artists in the game right now aren't talented. I'm not saying talent does not exist, but I'm saying when we're looking at the casual complaints of the game, it's time to acknowledge some shit. And as Damo said, you can look at these motherfuckers and say they're not trying, but I'm gonna drill it home. It's the niggas that just accept bad music and try to stand it. Stand culture is the first problem. Second problem, I will drive it home. The fact that Polo G, for example, is not anywhere as prestigious as he should be is your problem. The fact that I mean, some people have passed, but I'm trying to think of other artists who had one great album. Roddy Ricch, for example. The fact that Roddy Ricch isn't a prestigious name in the game right now, that's a you problem, because you heard one project you didn't like and you packed it up. So it's mainly like we don't even necessarily completely disagree. It's more so the consumers have divided shit so strongly that we now have to grasp at straws at what other ways can we fix it outside of consumers just not being dicks to these artists. And that's where the shit gets unfortunate. That's
This
where
comment
shit
right
gets
here.
unfortunate.
This is another thing too. The fact that niggas
Yeah.
don't gotta buy music no more. Like you literally
That's
just gotta
true.
pay that $5.99, $7.99, $9.99, and I have access to everyone's catalog and a touch of my fingers. That literally that desaturized the game too. Now it's easier to listen to music. Now you don't care that these three artists sound the same because nigga, I ain't have to pay for y'all shit. I just have to pay Spotify to be able to listen to music. I have to pay this. Versus you buying one album, then you have to buy another. You buy one album for $29.99. You buy this album for $15.99. You buy this album for $20.99. You like, wait, all you jokers sound the same? Oh nah, bro, I'm getting scammed. I'm getting scammed. All this sounds the same. Why am I paying for all this shit to sound the same? So hey, that was a great point. Niggas not paying, and unless
that is a good point.
Niggas ain't paying, and you're not going to the fucking barbershop to cop them burnt CDs from Buddy at the barbershop no more. And that changes the game.
I feel like this. I feel like this is probably an Unc account, right? I feel like at this point we're just disagreeing to disagree. How is this not a consumer issue? Even Damo, your tribal chief, fucking agrees with that shit. How is this not a consumer issue? Y'all packing up artists off of a bad project is crazy. That's an insane standard. That never happened. Cole is a prime example. A lot of niggas said For Your Eyes is trash. I know some of you don't believe that because it's old, but Damo is a Cole fan. I know he knows. I'm a Cole fan. I know what I seen. Niggas was dunking on that project, and that's not even too old. That's like 2018, right? Niggas
I punched every nigga in the mouth that said that.
Thank you. And you know what happened? We didn't cancel J. Cole. You know what y'all do to niggas in the game now? One bad song or debate, and the baby, granted, he's a special case. He packed himself up. But let's say the baby kept having a repetitive sound, and that became the trend. Dunk on the baby. That's what y'all do. Y'all find one criticism, you troll it, and then you pack them up. If DDG, for example, was dead serious, like I mean, he probably is, but like if he was like 5,000,000% locked in on being an artist, right? You telling me waking up to doo-doo garbage actually being in the search engine, like that's funny to us, but in reality, he's cooked. Like that's not that y'all are being unserious. Like I feel like at this point we're debating the debate. Like, come on, bro.
Hey, Sage, I agree with you, but doo-doo garbage in the search bar.
No, that is funny. No, that's fucking hilarious.
That
that's fucking hilarious.
Hilarious.
Christopher Johnson.